And hello, good evening, good afternoon, and this is a scene for pre-moot scene for House of Cards. We have today Lady Zhu of the Kitsune patrolling the Bond of Long Longsept and she's about to cross over across the neutral convergence point of the two bonds with the Hingokai sept of her sept and the Western Guru's Karen, and she's about to meet a new face. Let's see what happens.
Seeing as the moot is for both the Henge Yokai and the Garu, it's fairly likely that somewhere around here will be the meeting point. So she's having a bit of wonder, checking that everything's reasonably okay. There's nothing obvious. There's nobody kind of hanging around that shouldn't be hanging around, that kind of stuff. And when she sees someone she doesn't recognize, she approaches cautiously. Without making it obvious.
Well, it's not going to matter if she made it obvious or not. She comes closer to this gentleman. She notices he's actually sitting in the traditional sitting position of someone meditating with his eyes closed, but there's obviously something going on in his head, and because there's actually tears rolling down his face. He's just sitting there, and he's just whatever memory he's actually running through that's running through his head is just sitting there really heavy on his mind, and he's just trying to you can tell there's it's really a very powerful memory because he's got the whole rapid eye movement going underneath the eyelids.
I do not wish to intrude, but is everything all right?
He stops and just wipes his face. No, you're fine. It's just a very bad memory. And it's an anniversary of it. And I really didn't want to remember, but it's kind of helpful if I try to remember it to try and let it go gradually. Sorry, I don't believe we met. Name's Charlie.
I'm Zhuling.
Nice to meet you. Assuming since you're walking way I was hearing you walk, you're either one of the residents of either sept.
I'm a wood mirror of the Henge Yokai.
I'm. Let me officially introduce myself, then, ma'am. I'm sorry about that. I'm Charles. I'm Charles Lee of the Cleith of the Theurge of the Fianna, but I'd prefer to be called Charlie.
It is nice to meet you, Charlie.
Nice to meet you too.
I don't know a great deal about the Garu. What is a Cleath? If you don't mind my asking.
I'm first rank.
I see.
I'm right before, right after Cub.
Like the wood?
Yes. If I just got the context of what you said correctly.
As I said, I am a wood mirror.
So you're like I am.
Yes. And the Thea, the theory one?
Uh, I'm a spirit talker of the Crossing Moon.
How interesting.
Yes, but also due to my tribe's connections, due to the fact I'm a child of Stag, I also have relations with the Changeling.
There are some of interest in this city.
I've heard. I've actually got a distant cousin that's of their kind. From what I've heard around the Sept.
That is one of the many challenges and rewards of living in Hong Kong. That it is such a melting pot of different cultures and creatures and ways.
Reminds me a lot of home in Texas. We have a melting pot with the United States and Mexico.
She'll nod.
I'm
But you are the spirit talker for your Sentai, yes?
you can if you're meaning pack. Um, I'm currently packless.
I see.
Yes, it's part of the reason why I was having a moment.
I have recently joined a Wave Sentai.
Ah, do tell.
The Wave Sentais come and go as the waves on the sea. They are there for a purpose and in sharing a task. The Mountain Sentais are there to last and are built to form family and to build a future.
Ah, that I can I understand that. You could say I was originally with a mountain Sentai back in Texas, and we I kind of lost them.
It is always hard to lose one's family,
Yeah,
and related or not, Sentai is your
families.
family.
Yep, family's family. But you said you were trying to make a pack that's more based off ideals than a permanent family.
Many Sentais begin as Wave Sentai so that you can have a purpose and a goal that you share and work towards it. And before committing yourself to permanence, know how that you will act with one another.
Hmm. So basically, you're just testing the waters to see if you can interact with the others in your pack.
It is always good to know before committing oneself. But
Who?
I do agree with the mission at hand as well.
May I ask what is your mission purpose?
We are seeking to aid a spirit of importance to us in the details are something of a sensitive topic for the spirit in question.
I'm guessing since the way you're being secretive with this, the spirit is very close to you and your group, if I'm correct. Death. You're breaking up.
I'm not sure how he would welcome it because
It's my bandwidth. Are we good? Could you repeat that? You broke up a lot.
hear me.
You were saying something about I wouldn't know how.
Yes. I wouldn't know how comfortable the spirit would be with it becoming general knowledge.
Oh, it's that sensitive a topic to the spirit in question.
Yes, but then it is often a sensitive topic to have lost something.
I understand. In the spirit of cooperation, would you be needing the services of my caliber?
I am something of a spirit talker myself, but I do appreciate the offer. If you would be interested in meeting with our group and working towards this goal, I'm sure we would be able to find a way in which you would be able to help.
We are all of the mother. I would be happy to help.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Sometimes it is something that needs reminding that the Garu are children of the Emerald Mother as well.
It's a good thing to be reminded of, and also it sometimes needs to be learned that the Earth Mother actually takes on different forms and different names for her children.
Even those who have been touched most strongly by the white-faced lady. We'll find that peace is valuable here.
Peace is always a good thing, especially peace of mind.
And peace between brothers and sisters.
Very. Although, if you met one of my the more one of the Pure Lands tribes, he'd probably depending on which one he'd probably disagree with you.
About there being less peace between brothers and sisters than there should be, or about us all having the Emerald Mother in common?
The children of Wendigo always prided themselves on rivalry when it comes to their European brothers and sisters.
One thing the Garou needed to learn, and some have not, is that rivalry is different to aggression.
That is true, but after the loss of Middle Brother, things changed between the Pure Lands and the European tribes.
And the loss of the Kamatotes.
The loss of the loss of that most prevalent of messengers of the mother was very, very hurtful and very shameful for most of the Guru that heard about it.
As I said, rivalry is different from aggression. The attempts to prove yourself capable of doing the task the mother has set for you with absolute skill is different to taking others' tasks and destroying those who would do it better than you.
Needless to say, when in the childhood of the Guru, we lacked wisdom of who our loyalties and our friendships should be with.
Yes. It is something to be mindful of. But the Kitsune did not suffer as many suffered.
This I've actually heard even in my limited study. I've noticed you deliberately brought up the Karamazovs.
Yes.
May I ask why you brought up the Karamazovs?
They were entirely extinguished.
I had to agree with you.
You spoke of the loss of Middle Brother. That is the loss of one part of the whole. The Kamazots were lost entirely.
Yep.
perhaps reminding these Wendigo that loss is not limited in its scope. Many can lose, and what is lost may be in many different scales, but it is always loss, and it is always painful, and it is always something that can either be learned from or dwelt upon.
Well, with the children of the Pure Land, the Ice Pure Lands, uh, the, the scars went deeper than the loss of Middle Brother. That's as far as I know from my studies. I don't know what happened, but I know the scars went deeper for them than that loss.
And the Pharaoh?
Uh, the Pharaoh were very dishonorable and very regrettable, in my opinion, for the ones that got lost.
Our loss of our brothers and sisters, both of our kind and of other kinds. Is this something we should dwell on?
No, uh, it's not always healthy to dwell on the past, especially past hurts, which I'm trying to learn.
It is unwise to forget, but to hold on to the pain is to relive the pain over and over again and to inflict it upon others.
No truer words spoken. But there would be some of the elders that still still revel secretly in the pain of the loss of such people.
Remember what has been done. There are many who would say that it is not safe to have the Garu here. That they are not like the Hengyokai. Even the Haken, so very similar, changing into the same beasts. Their ways are not our ways. It is often thought and often said. But you are not your forefathers. And whilst caution is certainly worth practicing, so too is progression.
It's always wrong to hold the children to the sins of their fathers.
It is.
Especially,
but also the children are often alike to their fathers. It is wise to remember both. To forgive, but to be wary.
understood, and it's also a good thing to keep in mind that the children are actually trying to learn from the mistakes of their fathers.
This is why I tell it to you. Not because I want you to feel that I blame you in any way. It is not your blame to carry. But because I feel it is important to remember our ancestors in order to learn from their mistakes and their triumphs, to see the best that we can be and the worst that we can be, so that we can make the right choices.
Very true.
So what is it that brings you to Hong Kong?
Learning to let go. Business.
Well,
Learning.
then our conversation was quite apt on learning to let go.
Yes. Yes, it was.
What is it you feel that you cannot release?
A loss of family. A loss of a home. Well, a near loss. Mistakes made that shouldn't have been made.
Mistakes cannot be undone. They can only be learned from. And whilst no amount of good will erase the bad is what reminds us of the importance of the good that we do.
Very true. And that also brings me to the main reason why I actually wanted to tip my hat into contributing to your wave Sentai, was it?
Yes.
That, and I'm wanting to embrace what my new home has to offer.
It is a very different culture. Have you been to the temple yet?
Not yet. I've only been here for a few weeks. I just barely, when I got here, I just barely missed the last council meeting.
The council meetings are held at the temple, well, beneath it.
Well, other than that, I've actually just been exploring Hong Kong. I haven't actually made my way over to the temple yet.
Sorry, what did you say?
Other than I said, mainly I've been actually just trying to explore Hong Kong. In my explorations, I haven't made my way over to the temple yet.
Oh yeah, and then you said about the council meetings.
Yes.
The council meetings are held beneath the temple.
Oh, okay. Odd practice, but I can see it being a very interesting security measure.
It means that it is a place of peace, one that few would desecrate. And it allows many people to visit the shrines and pay tribute as they are approaching the council.
Sounds like a Karen's heart in practice.
It is very similar, but it is predominantly held by the Kuei Jin.
Quei Jin, looking
Walkers
confused.
of the night.
Say again?
The walkers of the night. Those who have died and gone to hell and have fought their way back.
That sounds similar to something from home called The Fallen.
I do not know quite what you refer to. It seems
Um,
unlikely. To the best of my knowledge, the Quasian do not travel outside of the eastern lands.
um, best way to describe it, like us in the fact that we are part spirit due to the Earth Mother. These entities weren't started as part spirit, but they somehow became part spirit. From what I've gathered, They died. Then uh, another spirit came in and brought them back.
In most cases, though not all, the Quasian return to the bodies that they had to begin with. They die,
That
they go to hell, to the many hells of Yomi. They fight their way back, and in preference, they return to their original bodies. Sometimes that's not possible.
that part's the only thing that differs because these spirits that come to inhabit what was left of the body uh, are, I guess you could say, spiritually inclined in origin.
Interesting. I don't believe I've heard of those.
Some of my elders say that they these they were a part of the destroyer once, and then slipped control of the destroyer, and now they don't. A lot of them don't even register as tainted in their human states or in their lower warlike forms.
Interesting. Well, as you say, they do not seem to be like the Quasian. The Quasian hold the temple. It is a sacred place, and it is one where it is wise to behave with respect. And it is where the council hold their meetings.
Ah,
We sit in the section dedicated to the sword.
uh, explain to me the symbolism in the seating arrangements. That's still kind of confusing me, even when my elders are try to explain it to me.
The council is based upon the tarot. The
Oh,
four
okay,
houses, the four houses, and the major arcana.
okay. So one area is of the cups, one's to the sword. Uh, I'm guessing one's to the king.
Pentangles. There's
Okay.
the swords, the staves, the cups, and the pentangles.
Where who all usually sits in the areas?
We sit in the swords.
All right.
The Western Nightwalkers sit in the staves. The cups are for the Fae of various kinds, and the pentangles are for the magic users.
Okay. How populated is the Western Night Walkers you said of?
There is a reasonable number, far more than you are likely to find anywhere else in China.
Okay.
This was a British colony. The Quasian do not welcome the Westerners in most cities and
Ah,
have never.
very understandable. Due to our
But
track record with each other.
yes, but there are a reasonable number here.
In the past, we've um, the Guru have butted heads with the Western Night Walkers, and it wasn't always a good coming out of amicably from such
In the past,
aggression.
the Garu have butted heads with many people.
Um,
But I do see your point. They do seem somewhat more tainted than the Quasian.
some of my elders referred to him as a very not nice name that usually is not spoken in mixed company, but called a leech for
Yes,
some reasons.
the Koraks called them that as well. One in specific, I should add, rather than the Koraks as a whole.
Uh, the other
It's
messenger guy sometimes doesn't know how to just be quiet.
sometimes yes, but it seems that many Westerners call them such. He is American, I believe.
All right, at least. Uh, what the Western Night Walkers? What side do they usually traffic with for their society?
Side?
Um,
I
they have
believe that they are
two.
linked with the yin, but
I, I was back home. From what I could tell in passing rumors, there was two umbrella organizations within the vampires as society. One was very monstrous. The other one was very high and mighty, hoity-toity kind of people.
I suppose you would have to ask them, but I think it more likely the second.
Oh, okay. That's at least a little bit better than what I was thinking.
They seem to have behaved by the rules of the Accord so far,
All right,
for the
that's
most
good to
part.
know. We have all have our own agendas, and sometimes they would have to bend some rules to get them done.
This is true.
In your sorry to change the subject from them, but in your group, your wave pack, wave Sentai, uh, who's all in there in your pack except this Korax, which I'm assuming he's in it.
He is. We are currently considering him our pillar.
Ah,
And
I'm assuming Pillar would be like the Philodox of of the Guru. Always balanced, always the mediator between the members.
sometimes, though generally I would think being a mediator falls more under the lantern.
Oh,
The
okay.
pillar is a support of the group that ensures that those who need help receive help. Those who are unable to fulfill a task know that it will be done. They support. They lift up their pack members in need of help. And they keep those that are falling from falling.
The healer.
No.
Okay.
It is more spiritual and task based. If one is a fighter and they are injured and they cannot fight, the pack does not fall because the pillar will ensure that the support is given, the cover is provided.
So basically, in his role, he's all roles. If one cannot perform his duties to the pack.
Yes. And also in helping those who are going about their duties. Should the entire pack be waiting on discovering something that requires asking a dozen spirits, a dozen things, the pillar may help the mirror in finding those spirits.
All right.
Even if his skills may not be sufficient to speak with them, he can help them gain proper chiminage. Essentially, he is what holds the pack together and makes sure that the members of the pack are all able to fulfill their duties, while the lantern guides the pack, places the tasks with the appropriate person.
Ah,
They are
okay.
both useful to the working of the pack in different ways.
All right. You said you were the mirror.
Yes. The mirror is the face that shows those outside the Sentai what the Sentai wishes to see, wishes for them to see. It speaks with the spirits and with others outside of the Sentai.
That sounds like the Galliard, the gibbous moon of my kind. Somewhat.
But I thought you were the spirit speaker. Perhaps it is only
I
natural that these will not align perfectly.
yeah.
They are not designed to. If you say you are
I
a spirit speaker, what
I
else is to your
oh sorry. Could you repeat that?
what else is to your task?
Um, my task is to heal. I collect lores, rituals. I would. I'm the knowledge-based healer and lore ritual master and lore master of the pack. And I
Often the lore and the wisdom and the knowledge on how to assign duties is predominantly the domain of the lantern, whilst I will know about spirits and be able to advise and to seek out things in turn. The lantern will know my skills and know what is needed in the task and ensure that I'm the one to carry it out.
think I can handle that.
There is a broad range of knowledge to being a lantern. It is very much a matter of, I believe it is very much a matter of a different way of allocating the same tasks.
Understandable.
You said this Galliard is your tail singer.
Yes. The Galliards tell the stories of the pack slash Sentai, of what they've done, their exploits, their failings to others, just either to learn from or to exalt the pack.
And what is the rest of their task?
When it comes down to it, if there isn't, he can basically hold in Hingokai terms. He could hold position in the mirror or in the mirror, the pillar, or the lantern.
Yes. As I said, it seems very much as though the terms are different and the roles are different, but all the same duties must be fulfilled. They're simply divided differently.
Yes. Our the Guru in the Guru Society, our duties to the mother are handed down by Lady Luna in her different five faces.
The white-faced mother, the white-faced lady is wise, but in our society, one's auspice is chosen as one enters the society fully, as one attains the rank of wood.
Ah, interesting. Unfortunately, our mother-based duties get chosen for us in Guru Society by the in your terms the white-faced lady. At birth.
Do you feel she chose well?
So far, I've seen the wisdom in her in her decision, and I've done my duties fairly well this far.
And do you feel that the others you have known were chosen rightly?
Um, very much so. And it's just when it came down to it, our enemy caught us by surprise, and we at that moment we weren't prepared.
And do you feel that you would have chosen for yourself better than the white-faced lady could have chosen for you?
At this late in the game, I would have to say no.
Then does it matter if you are given your role within the society at birth, or whether you must find it yourself?
I can see wisdom in both paths, but in the big scheme of things, both paths come into one point.
And both paths would have led you here.
Yes, at least from what I could tell.
So clearly you are needed here.
Clearly.
And perhaps you will be well suited to helping us in our task.
I believe I would.
And reclaiming the wings that have been stolen.
I'll do the best. I'll search the Umroad to my best of my ability to find these wings you speak of.
Good. Then we shall both work to this end.
Right, rightly so. And would the others of the Sentai be appearing at the moot?
I expect that they will. What may be of interest to you and of surprise and of relevance to your question earlier when you asked why I mentioned the Camazotes as a lost peoples, is that the third member of our Sentai before your arrival is in fact Camazotes.
Then I'm happy to hear that this brother has returned to the world.
As are we all. With hope and with time, there may be more.
Hopefully, with that hope, it brings the hope of another lost sibling of Gaia can return home, or
This
at
is
least
true.
a few more.
This is true. I do not know if the apes have been heard of.
Apes.
The shifters that took ape form.
Ah, not that I've heard of yet from home, but
As you said,
getting
if the Camazotes have returned, there is hope for our other brothers and sisters.
yes, especially for the one other one that was lost to the Guru Nation.
The Australian ones.
They as well, but I was referring to my tribe's brother tribe.
I'm afraid I don't know what you refer to from that.
My the Fianna's sibling tribe were children of Lion.
The Bastet? She really doesn't have enough Garu lore to be able to answer this one otherwise. But the
They
Bastet
were,
are still here.
uh, you're somewhat close. He goes. They were great warriors in the lands of Scotland.
She's just going to look confused because, like I said, she does not have the Garu lore for this.
In a shadow war during the time of the Romans' expansion into Europe, there was another werewolf tribe running around in Ireland and Scotland.
And I take it they are lost as well.
You can say
Amazon
that.
and
There's
the middle brother.
yes. You could say they're lost, but they're going by another title. They were lost to darkness.
I see.
They didn't
And
lose their
they became the Shadow Lords.
He just smiles. Um, they
She's
became
heard that name from the Camisotes.
in a way, in a way, they became Lords of Shadow, but it was more. It's a darkness of the tainted one.
I see. I must say, with so many different groups, it's a wonder you can keep them all straight.
There was
It
about
almost seems as if the Garu, having fought everyone else, must fight among themselves. No offense.
uh, none taken. It's but you'd have to think there's would be some even violence between siblings sometimes that needs to be squashed before you can move on to another person.
Yes, but the Kitsune are the Kitsune. We have
Yeah.
paths, but we choose our paths and we work better together than we do apart. The Henga Yokai are the Henga Yokai, and despite vast differences, we work better together than we do apart. We've been given different roles by the Emerald Mother, different skills, different tasks that are put before us.
I see.
And yet the Garu seem so fractured.
And oddly enough, in this fracture, there are some that find strength in the company of each other, as do our nature, and can put aside such violent differences to form families.
Yes, and that is good.
Uh, guess we
And it's
can.
good that you will see how the different peoples can work together. Even if our Sentai lasts a very short time.
Hopefully it lasts longer than that, but it'd be interesting to finally work with Korax and one of the children bats of the Earth Mother.
It is always interesting to work with those who can fly, though they do have an unfortunate habit of thinking that makes them superior in some manner.
I've heard an expression: a person that dreams always thinks with their head in the clouds.
Much as I dislike the way that those who can fly seem to treat those who cannot with pity, I cannot help but think that it must be some terrible loss to have that and lose it.
As far as I could tell from my cousins in the changelings, the ones with wings, when it becomes a hindrance, or they were born with it as a hindrance, and instead of them fully functional, it always seems like they have a very depressed. They go and be very sad when they look at one of their siblings that can fly, and they're stuck on the ground.
And that is why we must help Lung.
Yes.
And also why it is important that you do not share this too widely.
Never really was going to share pack business with anyone other than pack.
Yes, I merely wanted to clarify. Understandably, Lung is not pleased at his loss.
I would imagine so if he started off as one of the ones that could fly.
He is a dragon.
That I kind of figured out.
But we shall seek to restore them. It is likely that there will be a challenge involved.
Which is always fun to participate in or to watch.
Yes, and hopefully, once we have completed this task and sought an answer to the reason why the Umbra has a fierce storm between us and the mainland, and perhaps even looked into the strange mages with the sunglasses, we will be able to seek greater rank and greater tasks and greater unity and the formation of a mountain sentai.
Hopefully so. Or at least that's what I want to strive for. I guess we're out of character. We're running out of things to talk about, and we should probably wrap up the scene.
Probably, yeah.
All right. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Thank you, players, for playing. For and watching this very interesting and uh, probably prolonged and lost in thought con- conversation of two of Gaia's children actually playing nice.
Yep.
Apparently this happens. It's a thing.
Yep.
And
Somewhat philosophical ramblings of the Kitsune and the urge.
yeah, until the moot. See you later.